The stars looked different from this far out. Captain Dae-ho Kim stood at the main viewing window of the Hanul and watched the distant pinpricks of light. Earth's sun was now just another small star behind them. This was the farthest any human had ever traveled from home. "Captain, all systems are working well," said Engineer Han-bin Choi from his station. "The new engine is holding steady." Dae-ho nodded. "Good. How much farther to the edge of our solar system?" "About 3 hours, sir," Han-bin replied. The Hanul was the most advanced ship ever built by humans. The Korean Space Agency had worked with scientists from around the world to create it. Its mission was simple: go beyond our solar system and see what was out there. Dae-ho looked at his crew. They were the best Earth had to offer. Lieutenant Jisoo Park sat at the weapons station, her eyes sharp and alert. Dr. Taewon Lee checked data on his screen, looking for any signs of life in the emptiness around them. Engineer Han-bin kept the ship's systems running perfectly, and at the front of the bridge, Communications Officer Soo-min Kang listened for any signals from the deep black of space. "I'm going to check the lower deck," Dae-ho said. "Call me if anything changes." As he walked through the ship's corridors, Dae-ho felt a sense of pride. Humans had come so far in such a short time. Just 20 years ago, people had only dreamed of traveling this far. Now they were about to leave the solar system behind. The ship shook suddenly. "Captain," Soo-min's voice came through the speaker. "We need you on the bridge now." Dae-ho ran back to the command center. "What's happening?" "Something's out there," Jisoo said, pointing to the main screen. It just appeared. On the screen, a shape moved against the blackness of space. It was huge, at least 10 times bigger than the Hanul. Its surface gleamed like metal but seemed to shift and move in ways that didn't make sense. "Is it a ship?" Dae-ho asked. "I think so," Taewon said. "But it's like nothing we've ever seen before." Soo-min turned from her station. "Captain, we're receiving a signal. It's not random. There's a pattern." "Put it through the translator," Dae-ho ordered. The computer worked to make sense of the signal. After a few seconds, words appeared on the screen. They were simple but clear. "Humans, stop your vessel. We come in peace." The bridge went quiet. Everyone stared at the words. "Should we answer?" Soo-min asked. Dae-ho thought for a moment. This was the moment humanity had waited for. First contact with alien life. The entire mission had been about finding something out here, but no one had really expected to find it so soon. "Yes," he said. "Tell them we are peaceful explorers from Earth. Ask who they are." Soo-min sent the message. The reply came quickly. "We are the Valari. We have been watching your world. We need to speak with you urgently." "Ask them what they want to talk about," Dae-ho said. His heart was racing, but he kept his voice calm. The next message was longer. "Your species is in danger. The Galactic Coalition has noticed your rapid advancement. They are coming to assess you. This is not good news." Dr. Lee moved closer to the screen. "Galactic Coalition? There's a whole group of alien species out there?" "It seems so," Dae-ho said. "Soo-min, ask them if we can meet face to face, safely." After a brief exchange, the Valari agreed. They sent instructions for docking the Hanul with their ship. "This could be a trap," Jisoo warned, her hand moving to her sidearm. "It could be," Dae-ho agreed. "But we came out here to make contact. We can't turn back now." Han-bin guided the Hanul carefully toward the alien vessel. As they got closer, they could see its true size. The Valari ship was enormous, with smooth lines and strange markings across its hull. "Docking complete," Han-bin announced as the ships connected. "Jisoo, Taewon, you're with me," Dae-ho said. "Han-bin and Soo-min, stay here and monitor everything. If something goes wrong, disconnect and head back to Earth immediately." The 3 crew members made their way to the airlock. When the door opened, they stepped into a brightly lit corridor. The air was breathable, but smelled slightly sweet. "Hello?" Dae-ho called out. A figure appeared at the end of the corridor. It walked toward them slowly. As it came closer, they could see it was roughly human-shaped but taller and thinner. Its skin was pale blue and its eyes were large and dark. "I am Elam," the being said, its voice strangely musical. "Welcome to our vessel." Elam led them to a room with a large table and several seats. 2 more Valari were waiting there. "These are my crew members," Elam said. "We are scouts like you, but we came to warn you." "Warn us about what?" Deho asked. "The Galactic Coalition," Elam replied. "They control most of the known galaxy. They have rules about contact with developing species like yours." "And what are these rules?" Taiwan asked. "Usually they observe from a distance. They wait until a species reaches a certain level of technology before making contact. This normally takes centuries." Elam's large eyes fixed on Deho. "But your species has developed technology at an unprecedented rate. This has concerned them." "Why would our progress concern them?" Jisoo asked. "Because rapid advancement often indicates aggressive tendencies," another Valari explained. "Species that develop quickly tend to be more dangerous when they join the galactic community." "That's not fair," Deho said. "We're explorers, not conquerors." "We know," Elam said. "That is why we are here. Your world has been classified as a quarantine planet for centuries. The Coalition has been watching you. Now they are sending an assessment team." "To do what?" Taiwan asked. "To determine if humans are ready to join galactic society," Elam said. "But the truth is they are coming to decide if you should be contained." The room fell silent. Deho felt a chill run down his spine. "What does contained mean?" he finally asked. "It means they will limit your technology. They will prevent you from advancing further. They may even isolate your solar system from the rest of the galaxy." "Why are you telling us this?" Jisoo asked, her voice suspicious. "Because we were once like you," Elam said. "The Valari were judged advancing too quickly. We were contained for 300 years before being allowed to join the Coalition. We do not wish to see this happen to another species with great potential." "How long do we have?" Deho asked. "The assessment team will arrive at your planet in 30 of your Earth days," Elam replied. "Then we need to warn our people," Deho said, standing up. "We need to prepare." "Yes," Elam agreed. "But be careful. The Coalition is powerful. They have technology far beyond yours." As they walked back to their ship, Taiwan whispered to Deho, "Do you believe them?" "I don't know," Deho replied. "But I think we need to take this warning seriously." Back on the Hunnel, the crew gathered on the bridge. "Set course for Earth," Deho ordered. "Maximum speed. We need to get home and warn everyone." As the ship turned and accelerated toward Earth, Deho looked out at the stars once more. The universe had suddenly become a much bigger and more dangerous place. But humans had always been good at facing challenges. Whatever was coming, they would be ready. Tiu Ser. Hanel raced toward home, carrying news that would change humanity forever. 29 days after the Hanul returned to Earth with its warning, the sky over Seoul filled with massive ships. They appeared suddenly, 7 huge vessels that hung in the air like dark clouds. Similar ships appeared over other major cities, around the world at the same time. People stopped in the streets to look up. Some ran in fear, others took pictures. On TV screens everywhere, news reporters tried to stay calm as they showed the alien ships to the world. In an underground bunker beneath Seoul, Captain Daeho Kim watched the live feeds with world leaders and military chiefs. "Just like the Valeri said," he muttered. "Right on time." Ambassador Yoon-hee Jang stood beside him. The Korean diplomat had been chosen to lead Earth's unified response team. She was tall and carried herself with quiet confidence. "Are we ready for this?" she asked. Daeho. "No," he answered honestly, "but we'll have to do our best." The room went quiet as every screen showed the same image. A beam of light stretching down from the largest ship over Seoul. Where the light touched the ground in a large city park, figures began to appear. "They're here," someone whispered. The aliens stood in a small group. There were 5 of them, each different from the others. One was tall and thin with blue-green skin. Another was short and wide with too many arms. The one in front looked almost human except for its silver eyes and the strange patterns on its skin. Ambassador Jang took a deep breath. Time to meet our visitors. 2 hours later, a special meeting room in Seoul's newest building was filled with tension. Humans sat on one side of a long table. The aliens sat on the other. The leader of the aliens called himself Mac. He was from a species named the Orathi. "We have come to assess your readiness for joining Galactic Society," Mac said. His voice sounded strange through the translator device. "This is standard procedure." Ambassador Jang nodded politely. "We are honored by your visit. Earth welcomes peaceful contact with other worlds." "Yes," Mac said, his silver eyes unblinking. "We have observed your world for some time. Your development has been unusually rapid." Dr. Taewon Lee, sitting next to Daeho, whispered, "They make it sound like that's a bad thing." Mac continued, "We will conduct several tests over the next few days. We will evaluate your technology, your social structures, and your potential as a species." "What kind of tests?" Ambassador Jang asked. "Nothing harmful," Mac assured her. "Simple evaluations. We will need access to your scientists, your leaders, and your military representatives." Daeho didn't like the sound of that last part. When the meeting ended, he pulled Ambassador Jang aside. "They want to check our weapons," he said. "They want to know how dangerous we are." Jang nodded. "I know, but we can't refuse. We need to appear cooperative." "While we watch their every move," Daeho added. Over the next 3 days, the Coalition representatives visited labs, universities, and military bases around the world. They asked endless questions. They took samples of Earth materials. They watched humans work, eat, and interact. On the 4th day, Lieutenant Ji-Soo Park met Daeho in a secure room at the Korean Space Agency. "They've been testing our weapons systems," she reported. "They seem surprised by how quickly we've advanced from gunpowder to nuclear technology." "Is that good or bad?" Daeho asked. "Bad, I think," Ji-Soo said. "I overheard 2 of them talking. They said something about our exponential weapons development curve being concerning." That afternoon, Dr. Lee made an important discovery. He rushed to find Daeho and Ambassador Jang in the monitoring center they had set up. "I've been studying the data we have on the different alien species," he explained, his voice low. "Most of the species in the Coalition aren't equals. They're client races controlled by the Orathi." "Are you sure?" Jang asked. "Yes. Look at their behavior patterns. The other aliens always defer to Mac, and look at this." He showed them a tablet with charts. "The ship designs, the technology, it all comes from the Orathi. The other species just use what they're given." Daeho frowned. "So the Galactic Coalition isn't a partnership of equals. It's an empire controlled by one species." "Exactly," Dr. Lee said. On the 5th day, the Coalition representatives conducted psychological tests on human volunteers. They showed them problems to solve and watched how they approached them. In one test, a Coalition scientist presented engineer Han Bin Choi with a broken device. "Fix this if you can," the alien said. Han Bin studied the device. He had never seen anything like it before, but instead of giving up, he began taking it apart carefully, studying each piece. "Interesting approach," the alien noted. Within an hour, Han Bin had not only fixed the device but made it work better than before. The alien seemed disturbed by this. Similar scenes played out around the world. Humans faced with unknown problems showed incredible creativity and adaptability. They worked together to solve issues that should have been beyond their understanding, and the Coalition representatives grew increasingly uncomfortable. On the 7th day, Ambassador Jang was invited to the main Coalition ship for a preliminary report. Captain Daeho and his crew accompanied her as advisors. The inside of the ship was vast and cold. The walls glowed with a soft light that seemed to come from nowhere. Mac led them to a large chamber where other Coalition leaders waited. "We have completed our initial assessment," Mac announced. His tone was formal, but Daeho noticed a new tension in it. "And your findings?" Ambassador Jang asked calmly. "Humans are unusual," Mac said. Your technology is primitive compared to ours, but your rate of advancement is unprecedented. Most species take thousands of years to progress from simple tools to space travel. You have done it in mere centuries. Ambassador Zhang smiled. We are quick learners. Yes, Mac said coldly. That is exactly what concerns us. The room fell silent. I don't understand, Zhang said, though Daiho suspected she understood perfectly. Rapid advancement often indicates aggressive tendencies, Mac explained. Species that develop too quickly tend to be dangerous to galactic stability. Another Orathi stepped forward. We have also noted concerning psychological traits in humans. Your problem-solving methods are chaotic, unpredictable, and you show unusual cooperation patterns despite your many differences. Daiho nearly laughed. They were being criticized for working well together? Macu continued. The coalition has decided that Earth will be classified as a controlled development planet. We will install guidance systems in your orbit to help direct your growth in appropriate ways. Guidance systems? Ambassador Zhang asked. Yes. They will help ensure your technology develops along approved paths. This is for the benefit of all. As they left the ship later, Communications Officer Sumin Kang whispered to Daiho, Those aren't guidance systems, they're limiters. They're going to hold us back. Daiho nodded grimly. I know. That night, in the secure bunker, Earth's leaders gathered again. The mood was dark. They want to control us, Zhang told the assembly. These guidance systems will prevent us from developing technologies they don't approve of. What are our options? Asked one of the world leaders. We could refuse, a general suggested. And then what? Another asked. Their ships are in our skies. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Ambassador Zhang looked at Captain Daiho. The Hanul crew has spent the most time studying coalition technology. What do you think? Daiho stood up slowly. I think we need to play along for now. Accept their terms, act grateful even. You want us to surrender? Someone asked angrily. No, Daiho said firmly. I want us to buy time. Act weak while growing strong. Let them think they've won while we prepare. Prepare for what? A leader asked. To show the galaxy what humans are really capable of, Daiho replied. The room went quiet as his words sank in. Ambassador Zhang nodded slowly. I agree. We accept their terms publicly. And privately we get ready. Ready for what? Someone asked. To become the most feared force in the galaxy, Zhang said simply. And to do it faster than anyone expects. 2 weeks after the assessment ended, Ambassador Yoon-hee Zhang stood before the coalition representatives with a smile on her face. The meeting took place in a grand hall in Seoul that had been specially built for these discussions. Earth thanks the Galactic Coalition for its guidance, she said, bowing her head slightly. We are honored to accept your help in our development. Mac, the Arathi leader, nodded with satisfaction. Your cooperation will benefit your species greatly. The guidance systems will be installed within 30 days. Wonderful news, Ambassador Zhang replied. We look forward to learning from your wisdom. Later that day, far from Seoul in a hidden facility built inside a Korean mountain, Ambassador Zhang's smile vanished. She sat at a round table with Captain Daiho Kim and other leaders from around the world. They believed you, Daiho said. The Orathi are used to being feared, Zhang replied. They expect submission, a military general leaned forward. How long do we have before those guidance systems are fully operational? About 3 months, Zhang said. Once they're active, they'll limit our technological development. Any advanced research will be detected and stopped. Then we have 3 months to prepare, the general said. Ambassador Zhang nodded. Project Silent Thunder is already underway. We need updates from each team. Dr. Taewon Lee stood up first. My team has been studying the biological samples we collected from the coalition species. We've identified several weaknesses, especially in the Orathi. What kind of weaknesses? Daiho asked. Their bodies process oxygen differently than ours. They're also sensitive to certain sound frequencies that don't bother humans. Lieutenant Jisoo Park spoke next. We've analyzed their weapon systems. They rely heavily on energy shields, but those shields have never been tested against certain types of Earth weapons. Because they've never needed to be, Deho added. The Coalition is so advanced that no one has challenged them in centuries. Exactly, Jisoo said. Their technology is impressive, but it has weak points they've never had to fix. Engineer Hanbin Choi cleared his throat. My team has been studying the small pieces of Coalition tech we managed to borrow. Their power systems are beyond anything we've developed, but the principles are understandable. We're making progress. Good, Ambassador Jang said. Now, Captain Kim, tell us about your mission. 3 days later, the Hanul prepared to launch again. This time it had a new mission. The Coalition had granted permission for a small Earth ship to visit their hub world, with monitors aboard to ensure compliance with their rules. Captain Daeho Kim stood on the bridge with his crew. 2 Orathi observers watched from nearby. Are honored by this opportunity to learn about the Coalition, Daeho told them respectfully. Your education is important to us, one of the Orathi replied. As the Hanul lifted off, Daeho exchanged a quick glance with Engineer Hanbin. Their real mission had just begun. The Coalition hub world was a massive planet with 3 rings around it. Giant cities covered much of its surface. Ships of all sizes moved around it like bees around a hive. Amazing, Sumin said as they approached. Her wonder was genuine, but she was also carefully recording every signal her systems could detect. The Hanul docked at a special station for visiting species. The crew was given limited access to certain areas. Always, Coalition representatives watched them. During their first week there, the crew played their parts perfectly. They acted impressed and slightly overwhelmed by everything they saw. They asked simple questions. They were polite and humble, and all the while they gathered information. Hanbin studied the power systems in every building they entered. Jisoo noted the weapons carried by security forces. Taewon collected data on the different species they encountered. Sumin recorded communications patterns, and Daeho watched how the Coalition operated, looking for cracks in their system. On their 10th day at the hub, Daeho met someone unexpected. He was visiting a garden area when a tall, thin alien approached him. It took him a moment to recognize the species. You're Valari, Daeho said quietly. The alien nodded. My name is Neelam. I've been hoping to meet you, Captain Kim. How do you know who I am? Word spreads, Neelam said. You are the first humans to visit the hub. Many of us are curious about your species. Daeho looked around carefully. No monitors were nearby. Why did your people warn us about the Coalition? Neelam's large eyes blinked slowly. Because we see ourselves in you. The Valari were once like humans, quick to learn, eager to explore. The Coalition feared us just as they fear you now. And now you serve them, Daeho noted. We appear to serve them, Neelam corrected. Not all within the Coalition are happy with Arathi rule. There are many species who remember freedom. Daeho studied the alien's face. Are you suggesting an alliance? I am suggesting that if humans find a way to stand against the Arathi, they would not stand alone. Back on Earth, Project Silent Thunder continued in secret. Deep underground facilities housed scientists and engineers working day and night. Military bases disguised as farming operations trained special forces. And in orbit, the Coalition monitoring station watched for any sign of advanced technology. Ambassador Jang met regularly with Mac and other Coalition representatives. Each time she presented reports showing how Earth was adapting to Coalition guidance. The reports were real, but they only showed what the humans wanted the Coalition to see. Your species is adapting well, Mac told her during one meeting. Much better than expected. We recognize the wisdom of the Coalition, Jang replied humbly. We are grateful for your direction. Mac seemed pleased. In just a few weeks, the permanent technology suppressors will be activated. Then your development will proceed along safe, controlled paths. We look forward to it, Jang lied smoothly. After the meeting, Zhang returned to the mountain facility. The atmosphere there was tense but focused. "We may have a problem," a scientist told her as soon as she arrived. "The Coalition monitoring station has detected unusual energy readings from 3 of our facilities." "Can they identify the source?" Zhang asked. "No, but they're sending an inspection team tomorrow." Zhang's mind raced. "Move everything from those locations tonight. Leave only approved technology behind." "But that will set us back weeks," someone protested. "Better that than being discovered now," Zhang said firmly. On the Coalition hub world, Captain Deho and his crew were preparing to return to Earth. They had gathered valuable intelligence and made important contacts with other species who resented Orathi control. As they made their final preparations, Communications Officer Sumin received an encrypted message from Earth. "Captain," she said urgently, "Coalition inspection teams are investigating energy anomalies on Earth. Ambassador Zhang had to move several research facilities." Deho frowned. "How bad is it?" "They've lost some time, but the Coalition didn't find anything significant. Still, they're becoming suspicious." "Then we need to move faster," Deho said. "What's the status of the suppressors?" "Installation begins in 1 week," Sumin reported. "Full activation in 2 weeks after that." Deho turned to Engineer Hanbin. "Did you learn enough about their systems?" Hanbin nodded. "I think so. Their technology is advanced, but it follows logical principles. If we can get this information back to Earth, our scientists might be able to develop countermeasures." "Good," Deho said, "because we're running out of time." As the Hanul prepared to leave the hub world, the Orathi monitors seemed satisfied with their visit. "Your species has shown appropriate respect," one told Deho. "Perhaps humans will adapt to Coalition guidance better than expected." "We know our place in the galaxy now," Deho replied with just the right amount of humility in his voice. As the Hanul left the massive space station, Deho looked out at the vast Coalition fleet. Hundreds of ships, all more powerful than anything Earth possessed. Yet he felt a strange confidence growing inside him. "They think they know us," he said quietly to his crew, "but they have no idea what humans are capable of when our backs are against the wall." The Hanul turned toward Earth, carrying the information that might save humanity from eternal subjugation, and perhaps change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. 3 months had passed since the Coalition's assessment of Earth. In that time, humanity had been busy. On the surface, everything seemed to be proceeding according to the Coalition's plan. Earth appeared to be obediently following their guidelines. But deep in the mountain complex, now codenamed Firebird Base, something amazing was happening. Dr. Taewon Lee stared at the equations on the large screen in front of him. Around him, scientists from around the world worked at various stations. The room hummed with energy and purpose. "I think we've got it," he said quietly. Then with more excitement, "I think we've got it." Captain Deho Kim hurried over. "You've solved it?" Taewon pointed to the screen. "Look here. The Coalition's technology is based on manipulating what they call the 4th-dimensional energy field, but they're missing something fundamental." "What?" Deho asked. "There's a 5th dimension they haven't discovered," Taewon explained. "Or maybe they discovered it long ago but forgot about it because their technology works well enough without." "Corso, and we can use this?" Deho asked. "We already are," Taewon said with a smile. "That's what Project Phantom is all about." Project Phantom was one of several key initiatives under the Silent Thunder umbrella. Its goal was to develop technology that could not be detected by Coalition monitoring systems. In another part of the facility, Engineer Hanbin Choi was working with a team on a new type of engine. It looked nothing like traditional Earth engines or even like the advanced drives used by Coalition ships. "The beauty of it," Hanbin explained to Ambassador Zhang during an inspection, "is that it leaves no energy signature they can detect. It operates entirely in the 5th-dimensional field." "And it works?" Zhang asked. Hanbin smiled. "We've already tested a small prototype. It moved a test vessel from Seoul to Sydney in less than 3 minutes. The Coalition monitors saw nothing." Zhang looked impressed. "How soon can we scale it up?" "We're building the first full-size drive now," Hanbin said. "It should be ready in 2 weeks." In yet another section of the sprawling underground facility, Lieutenant Jisoo Park watched as soldiers trained with new weapons. These weren't conventional guns or missiles. They looked simple, almost like children's toys, but they were anything but harmless. "We call this the Whisper," she told Daeho, holding up a small device that fit in the palm of her hand. "It generates a focused sound wave at exactly the frequency that disrupts Orathi neural systems." "It just stops them?" Daeho asked. "Temporarily," Jisoo said. "No permanent damage. But it gives us an advantage they won't expect." Nearby, another team worked on larger weapons. "And these?" "Shield disruptors," Jisoo explained. "Coalition ships rely on energy shields that operate on predictable frequencies. These can create a brief window in those shields, just enough to get something through." Daeho nodded with satisfaction. The Coalition has never had to improve their defenses because no one has challenged them in centuries. "Exactly," Jisoo agreed. "They've grown complacent." Above ground, in Seoul, Ambassador Jang met once again with Mac. The Arathi leader seemed relaxed, almost friendly. "The technology suppressors are working well," he told her. "Our monitors show no unauthorized development on Earth." "We are pleased to follow Coalition guidance," Jang replied with a respectful nod. "Your species has adapted more quickly than we expected," Mac said. "Most races resist at first. They try to hide things from us." Jang smiled innocently. "What would be the point? Your technology is so far beyond ours." "Indeed," Mac agreed. "In a few centuries, if humans continue to show such good behavior, perhaps some restrictions can be lifted." "We look forward to that day," Jang said, while thinking, "We're not waiting centuries." As she left the meeting, Jang passed two Orathi technicians discussing the monitoring station in orbit. "Strange energy fluctuations near the polar regions," one was saying. "The sensors can't identify the source." "Probably just atmospheric anomalies," the other replied. "This planet has unusual weather patterns." Jang kept her face neutral as she walked past, but inside she felt a flash of concern. They needed more time. At Firebird Base, Communications Officer Su Min Kang had made a breakthrough of her own. She had been working on decoding Coalition communication systems. "Their comm network is massive," she explained to Daeho. "It spans the entire galaxy, but it has a simple structure with central nodes that control everything." "Can we access it?" Daeho asked. "Better than that," Su Min said with a grin. "We can send fake signals that look like they're coming from Coalition Command. I've been testing it on a small scale. Watch this." She typed a command into her system. On a nearby screen, they could see a Coalition patrol ship suddenly change course. "You just redirected a Coalition ship?" Daeho asked, amazed. "Just a minor course correction," Su Min said. "Nothing they'll notice, but it proves the concept." Daeho shook his head in admiration. 3 months ago, their technology seemed like magic to us. Now we're finding ways to match it or even surpass it. In a massive cavern beneath the mountains, something incredible was taking shape. A fleet of ships unlike anything Earth had built before. They were sleek and dark with no visible engines or weapons. They looked almost alive. "How many will be ready in time?" Ambassador Jang asked the project leader. 50, maybe 60, the leader replied. "Not enough to match their numbers, but if the stealth systems work, they won't need to match their numbers," Jang said confidently. As they spoke, workers moved around the ships, installing the new drive systems and weapons. The ships had been built in sections in facilities around the world, then brought here in secret for final assembly. "The Coalition still thinks we're at least a century away from building ships that could travel beyond our solar system," Jang observed. "They have no idea what humans can do when properly motivated," the project leader said with a grim smile. That night, the leaders of Project Silent Thunder gathered for an update meeting. The mood was tense but hopeful. "The Coalition is starting to detect anomalies," Ambassador Jang told them. "They don't know what they're seeing yet, but they're becoming curious. We may have only days before they decide to investigate more thoroughly. Are we ready?" someone asked. Captain Daeho stood up. "The ships will be ready in 5 days." The weapon systems are already operational. The shield disruptors have been tested and work perfectly. And the most important piece? Zhang asked. Dr. Taiwan nodded. The dimensional shift device works. We've successfully tested it on small objects. It allows us to briefly move into the fifth dimension, becoming effectively invisible to coalition sensors. What about our allies? Daeho asked. Su Min spoke. I've been in contact with the Valari and 3 other species who are willing to help. They're waiting for our signal. Zhang looked around the table. Then we're almost ready. But we still need to decide when to make our move. The longer we wait, the more ships we can build, a military leader pointed out. But the greater the chance of discovery, Daeho countered. As they debated, an alarm suddenly sounded. A communications officer burst into the room. Ambassador, the coalition has detected our power signatures. They're sending a full inspection team to investigate. They'll be here in 12 hours. The room fell silent. Then it seems the decision has been made for us, Zhang said calmly. We launch in 10 hours. But some of the ships aren't ready, someone protested. We go with what we have, Zhang replied, firmly. Send word to our allies, Operation Daybreak begins tonight. As the meeting broke up, Daeho approached Zhang. I should be on the lead ship, he said. Zhang nodded. I was counting on it, Captain. The Hanul has been upgraded with our new technology. You know the coalition hub better than anyone. You'll lead the mission there. Daeho saluted. We won't let you down. I know, Zhang said. In just a few hours, the galaxy is going to learn exactly what humans are capable of. As Daeho headed to prepare his crew, he couldn't help feeling a surge of pride. 3 months ago, humanity had seemed helpless before the coalition's advanced technology. Now they were about to challenge the most powerful force in the galaxy. And the coalition had no idea what was coming. The night sky above Earth was clear and filled with stars. It was 3 a.m. in Korea when Operation Daybreak began. Deep beneath the mountains, 57 ships prepared to launch. Unlike normal rocket launches, there was no countdown, no fire, no noise. The ships simply began to rise, surrounded by a faint blue glow that quickly faded to nothing. Captain Daeho Kim sat in the command chair of the Hanul. The ship had been completely rebuilt. It was now 3 times larger and filled with technology that hadn't existed 3 months ago. All systems ready, Engineer Han Bin reported from his station. Dimensional shift drive is operating at full capacity. Coalition monitors? Daeho asked. They see nothing, Communications Officer Su Min replied. We're completely invisible to them. Lieutenant Jisoo checked her weapons console. All weapon systems are online and ready. Dr. Taiwan finished reviewing the ship's sensors. The 5th dimensional field is stable. We can maintain this state for approximately 72 hours before needing to recharge. Daeho nodded, satisfied. Then let's begin. All ships, execute. Jump sequence on my mark. He took a deep breath. 3, 2, 1, mark. The Hanul and the 56 other ships in Earth's new fleet suddenly vanished. There was no flash, no sound. One moment they were there, and the next they were gone. In orbit above Earth, the Coalition monitoring station continued its usual scan patterns. Its sensors showed nothing unusual. As far as the Coalition knew, Earth was still a safely contained, primitive planet. They were wrong. Across the galaxy, at 12 critical Coalition installations, alarms suddenly blared. Coalition officers rushed to their stations, confused and frightened. Out of nowhere, Earth ships had appeared, surrounding their facilities. At the Coalition Defense Headquarters, a commander stared at his screens in disbelief. How did they get past our early warning systems? Where did they come from? Unknown, sir, an officer replied. They just appeared. Launch defensive measures immediately, the commander ordered. Coalition ships rushed to engage the Earth vessels. Energy weapons fired, brilliant beams of light shooting across space. But something strange happened. The Earth ships seemed to flicker, sometimes there, sometimes not. Most of the Coalition weapons fire passed harmlessly through empty space. And then, The Earth ships fired back. The shield disruptors worked exactly as Lieutenant Jisoo had designed them. They created brief windows in the Coalition vessel's energy shields, just long enough for the specially designed Earth weapons to pass through. Within minutes, Coalition ships were drifting powerless, their engines and weapons disabled but their crews unharmed. At the Coalition capital world, the massive defense fleet moved into position. 700 ships formed a protective barrier around the planet. They were the pride of the Coalition, the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. On the planet below, Mac and the Orathi High Council gathered in their emergency chamber. "How is this possible?" one council member demanded. "The humans were contained, their technology was primitive." "Clearly, we underestimated them," another said. "It doesn't matter," Mac declared. "Our capital defenses are impenetrable. No species has ever breached them. Whatever tricks the humans have developed, they cannot stand against our full might." At that moment, a fleet of 12 Earth ships appeared directly above the capital city, inside the defensive perimeter. "Impossible," Mac whispered. The Hanul led the Earth fleet that had appeared over the Coalition capital. Daeho looked down at the gleaming city below. "Send the message," he ordered Sumin. She nodded and opened a channel to the planet. "This is the Earth vessel Hanul calling the Orathi High Council. We request an immediate audience." After a brief pause, a reply came. "This is Coalition Central Command. Your presence here is a violation of galactic law. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Daeho leaned forward. "We have already neutralized 12 of your major installations. Your defense fleet is unable to detect us when we shift dimensions. We come to negotiate, not to fight, but we are prepared to do either." There was a longer pause this time. Finally, a different voice came over the channel. Mac's voice. "Captain Kim, your actions are unexpected." "We humans are full of surprises," Daeho replied. "Will you meet with our representative?" "You may send one shuttle to the Central Plaza," Mac said stiffly. "Any hostile action will be met with the full power of the Coalition." "Understood," Daeho said. "Our shuttle will arrive in 20 minutes. As the communication ended, Lieutenant Jisoo looked concerned. "Captain, this could be a trap." "Of course it's a trap," Daeho said. "But they're curious. They want to know how we did this. And that curiosity gives us an opening." A small shuttle departed from the Hanul. But it didn't carry Captain Daeho as the Coalition expected. Instead, Ambassador Yoon Hee-jung sat calmly inside, reviewing her notes one last time. The central plaza of the Coalition capital was surrounded by Coalition security forces. In the center, a large table had been set up. The members of the Orathi High Council sat on one side, their faces stern. When the Earth shuttle landed, Ambassador Jang walked out alone. She wore a simple but elegant suit and carried nothing but a small device in her hand. She approached the table without hesitation. "Ambassador Jang," Mac said coldly, "this is highly irregular." "Indeed," Jang replied, taking a seat across from the council, "but necessary. Your ships have committed acts of war against the Coalition," another council member said. "Your planet was under containment protocols." Jang smiled. "Those protocols no longer apply. Earth is not a primitive world to be contained. We are your equals." The council members laughed. "Equals? Your civilization is barely a few thousand years old. The Coalition has existed for millions of years." "Age does not determine worth," Jang said calmly. "Actions do, and the Coalition's actions toward developing species have been shameful." Mac leaned forward angrily. "You dare judge us? We maintain order in the galaxy. We guide younger races." "You suppress them," Jang corrected. "You prevent them from reaching their potential because you fear what they might become." "This meeting is pointless," Mac said, standing up. "Your ships have had their moment of surprise, but the full might of the Coalition will now respond. Your planet will be contained more strictly than before." Ambassador Jang placed the small device she carried onto the table. It projected a hologram showing the current situation across Coalition space. 12 key installations were under Earth control. Several hundred Coalition ships had been disabled. "This is not a momentary advantage," Jang said quietly. This is a fundamental shift in the balance of power. Mac stared at the hologram. How did you develop this technology so quickly? It's impossible. You missed something important in your science, Zhang explained. A fifth-dimensional energy field that your ancestors may have known about, but your current generation has forgotten. We found it in just 3 months. 3 months? A council member whispered in disbelief. Yes, Zhang confirmed. That's how long it took humans to go from a contained species to one capable of challenging the entire coalition. The plaza had grown quiet. Not just the council, but the watching security forces and nearby citizens of many species were listening. What do you want? Mac finally asked. 3 things, Zhang replied. First, Earth will be recognized as a sovereign, equal member of galactic society. No restrictions, no guidance systems. Second, all other developing species currently under containment will be given the choice of continued coalition oversight or independence. And third, Mac asked, his voice tight. The coalition will be reformed, Zhang said. No longer will the Arathi control everything. All species will have equal representation in a new galactic assembly. Mac laughed harshly. You think you can dictate terms to us? The coalition has millions of ships, thousands of worlds. And we have the ability to neutralize those ships without harming a single crew member, Zhang interrupted. We have allies among the client races you've suppressed for centuries, and we have the determination to see this through. She stood up. The choice is yours, a new partnership of equals, or a conflict you cannot win. On the Hanul, Dae-ho and his crew watched the meeting through Sumin's secure channel. Around them, the other Earth ships maintained their positions. Will they agree? Jisoo asked. They don't have much choice, Dae-ho replied. We've proven we can bypass their defenses, and Ambassador Zhang is making sure everyone hears this conversation, not just the Arathi, but citizens of all coalition species. On the screen, they could see many non-Arathi aliens watching the exchange with growing interest. Look, Taewon said, pointing to another monitor. The Valari fleet has just dropped its cloak. They're supporting our position at 3 of the installations. And there, Hanbin added. 2 more species have moved their ships to defensive positions around their homeworlds. Dae-ho nodded. The coalition is fracturing already. In the central plaza, Mac and the council members spoke quietly among themselves. Finally, Mac turned back to Ambassador Zhang. We will need time to consider these proposals, he said carefully. Of course, Zhang replied. You have 24 hours. Our ships will remain in position until then. As she walked back to her shuttle, Zhang noticed something remarkable. Many of the aliens watching were making small gestures toward her, nods, salutes, and other signs of respect or support. Back on the Hanul, she told her,